All right. Hi, everyone. Let me turn this down a little bit. I think. Yeah, this is good. You know, it's funny because I did the dry run of this talk, and people had asked if I played the saxophone, and I actually did play the saxophone, but this is not me on the sax. So I'll have to do a saxophone live stream at some point. Anyway. There's actually an 80s axe emoji, so you can use that for my dry run. So, all right, so let's get started here. Hopefully we have everyone. So yeah, great. So welcome everyone. I hope that I can have an entertaining stream here and you'll learn something. So those are my two goals, maybe in that order. So we'll see. First of all. My name is Mike Oshak, or Axe. I'm in the communication product group. I've given talks before, so hopefully, if you're here, you've heard of me or like you've seen me talk. But yeah, this is me. I've been HubSpot for a little over 10 years now. But before I begin, I kind of want to talk through like a meta commentary. And actually, like, given the Slack chat, I feel like everyone just wants to hear the meta commentary, but I'll give a short intro to what the stream is all about and why I thought of this. Since 2020, we've been remote. We've lost out on a lot of in-person chats. I've really liked giving in-person style lectures. No, not commentary and meta. When I view like video content online, educational content that I consume, there's kind of like four buckets of content. The one style is like the particularly like the kind of a lecture given to an audience that is recorded and then is played back later. And that's a fun format. I think you derive a lot of like cues from listening to the audience and everything. The bottom left here, this is a math YouTube channel called 3 Brown 1 Blue, and this is like a heavily produced 10-minute video that like explains some deep topic in an intuitive way, usually with a lot of visualizations. I view like Khan Academy as kind of like that content. The bottom right is kind of just like generic clickbait. There's just so much YouTube is just like people just doing like crazy reaction videos. Like this YouTube video is like $1,000 HDMI cable. Like, come watch this video. And then kind of the last type of not the entire, I'm not gonna like comment on this is not a review channel, so I'm not gonna go into every one of these, but the last style of content that I think has a lot of value is live stream coding or live stream anything really. You can watch people do math or whatever. I think we've kind of we've lost the ability to kind of look over each other's shoulders and see people code or see people do things. And I think, I thought for Epic Week, let me try something different. And so that's what we're doing. So this talk is not really going to be your traditional talk. It's a live stream. The format is on YouTube in order to make it really, really different. And hopefully you'll enjoy. So the agenda, we'll talk high level about what data dependency injection is. Talk about ground rules for the stream, or like what I'm doing, and then we'll build an injector and see what we can do. I need to stop reading this chat, but it's fun. All right, and then if we have time, we'll go to advanced features. But honestly, I think just getting injector and live stream format will be an endeavor. Also, while I'm coding, I think one of the really interesting things about a live stream is that I can react to people's chats, and that's why there's a Slack integration. So if you have questions about what I'm doing, definitely ask, and we can have a fun time here. So quickly, what is dependency injection? Dependency injection is basically a way to replace new, right? So we have this service. It has a constructor, and then you pass in some other objects, right? And anyway, yeah, this as a meta thing, this video is currently unlisted because I didn't want to like force you all to deal with like the method is like YouTube authentication and like making sure you're in the right Google account for YouTube. So it's unlisted. Please don't abuse that. But there shouldn't be anything in the stock that's proprietary, so I'm not too worried. So anyway, so we have this example service which is calling new. So new, yeah, exactly. So we're creating these dependencies by hand. You know, everything is concrete. There's no flexibility in how we're doing things here. You know, we have to, if we want to change our implementation of clock, we basically have to rewrite the code here. And you can imagine this can get really this can get really difficult to deal with. So you know, so basically the idea behind dependency injection is to replace these constructor calls with a system, and it's really just a map. It's a key value store that basically says for any given type of object, just build me that object, right? And so we basically, it's called inversion of control. We're basically like giving another a global map the ability to decide how to construct objects, and that really helps us because that allows us to change implementations to swap out things for testing, and it gives us a lot of flexibility, especially as our system grows in complexity. So yeah, so for some ground rules, like I said earlier, ask questions while I'm coding. I'm only going to use JDK with the Java X inject annotations for today. We'll work through a toy example, and yeah, we'll see. So after our dry run, there was a suggestion that I should really lean into the aviators, and so our toy example is going to be aircraft themed, Top Gun themed. So let's get right to it. So, all right. Hopefully everyone can see this. So here's a IntelliJ window with a project. It's a really basic project. There's no dependencies here. So let's go to dependencies. It's just Java X inject. It's a core module. It's really simple, right? And in here I have these different objects. Yeah, Tomcat, definitely something we can be using here. I actually do have a Tomcat in here, but it's not Apache Tomcat, and there's no war files. So anyway, so this is my main runner class, and it does a lot of work here. So it creates a clock. The basic idea here is that we're launching airplanes from a oh god, we're launching airplanes from an aircraft carrier, and you know, in launching an airplane, we create a new airplane, and that involves fueling it, and then we take off. Yeah, pretty much. And then, there are so many voices right now. All right, so when you take off, you know, you set a launch time, which is some volatile property, and then you execute taking off in an executor service. And so we can just run this right now just to see what it looks like. Hopefully it'll run. This is like the ultimate live demo, so you know, please bear with me. All right, so we have, yeah, this is pair programming. Okay, can you hear the music at all, or is it too low, too high? I think it's lower than what I tested it at, but okay, I'm gonna move on. Music's good. Okay, so first I'm gonna do, before I do anything else, I'm just gonna create a new package here. Anyone know any mathematicians we can use for the injector name? I'll just call it inject, it's fine. So we have injector. Fermat. Oh, that's a good injector. All right. So what does the injector do, right? So the injector, the basic idea, right? So if we just start with the interface, it's just going to be, you can get instance of an object. Right. So here's the type. Oh god. All right. Fermat's last injector. That's a pretty good joke. All right, so we have this interface. We call it get instance, and some work is going to happen to create this type, right? And what's going to happen to create this type? Well, to start off, let's say that we're going to do something really simple. This is not full juice yet. We're going to do the most basic thing, right? So we're just going to look for constructors of the type. Actually, before we begin, let's assume everything is a singleton. And obviously this is like the like a poor assumption, but we'll just start there, and then we can make things not singletons later. Look for constructors of the type. Look at arguments for constructor. Let's just pick random public one. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll start at 0, okay? Yeah, you got me. Comments in the code. What? It's gonna be 0. Alright. I mean, this is... I'm gonna delete this, okay, before I would commit this. This is, you know... alright. And then we're going to resolve all dependencies or arguments recursively. Right. And so the idea here is that, much like my runner here, right, so to build this aircraft carrier, you know, I had to build all these objects, right? And, sorry, I'm just, yeah, delete all your comments. That's good. All right. So in here, you can imagine a tree, and the airplane factory has to resolve the fuel tanker, and we have to build the fuel tanker, which then has to call this constructor, right? So there's a bunch of work that I'm doing here, which ideally an injector will just do it by itself. So let's do this. Let's create a class. We're gonna create a class or a static method called create injector. And we'll do private method. This is just to make it look a little bit more like Juice. And you know, the cheat here, right, is that like I kind of know what direction Juice is, what it's going to look like, or what the shape of the API will look like. Obviously, it's a lot easier to build something when you know what you're going to want in the end. So let me ask the audience: do you want me to start off with a key, or do you want me to just use class for now? I think when I did the dry run, I started with class, and then we had enough time to go to switch over to key, which allows more flexibility. But I'm happy either way. Okay. We'll go to class, I guess, because no one's saying anything else. I think there's latency here, so. All right. Start with class, yeah. Let's create a binding. And the binding is just going to have a supplier for that object. And we're not going to worry right now what that supplier is going to look like. Because sure. So this supplier, you know, if it's singleton, it can just be, you know, a method or a function returning a single object, but otherwise it could be actually calling a constructor each time. So we have a binding map here, and yeah, great. So in get instance, right? So we have to basically do the steps that I kind of mentioned here, and you know, I created this binding object here. So obviously somewhere in here we have to create a binding. So let's have a method called create binding, which has a type, which is nice. because this map we lose the type guarantee, so we're gonna have some unchecked warning, but that's fine. And we're gonna do something really dumb here. We're just gonna create a lock object, and I'll describe why in a bit. Like the quote-unquote smart thing to do here would be to use compute if absent, but you can't use compute if absent with recursive calls because it's a striped lock under the hood, and you could end up with a deadlock if you do it. So Java will just detect that and blow up. Thread safety, premature optimization. Oh yeah, I know. All right. So we're gonna synchronize the lock. Well, we'll do double check. This should work. Oh, yeah. Type. It's great. Cool. Oops. You know, I feel like this was so much easier to pure code with 30 people. There's definitely some scaling function where pure coding just gets harder as you have more people watching. But I thought it was going to be the other way around, so that's interesting. All right. I'm not memorizing. Okay, I'm just trying to build. Like, this is not going to look anything like juice code, okay? I'm literally just, like, basing it on the API and just by feel, okay? Yeah, that's... Instead of looking at the chat, I'm looking at the juice code. That's exactly what's happening. Okay. Good old double-check locking. I mean, this is probably premature optimization, but, you know, this entire thing is just a joke project, so it doesn't really matter. Binding. Did I have a create binding? And then let's put this thing. I'm going to create a method to hide the casting issue, I think. Hide unchecked call. Because I'm lazy and don't like seeing this stuff. I'll make it static. All right, I think we got everything here. Will there be unit tests? No. No, there will not be unit tests. Well, I think there's the runner, so there's something that I'll be testing with. But yeah, I'm not writing unit tests. Not in 30 minutes of time. Sorry. You have to make some concessions in the service of entertainment. Okay. So create binding. That's what this code is. That's what this comment, which is going to get deleted as soon as I write the code, is saying. Right. So we're gonna look for the. Oh God. All right. We're gonna look for constructors of the type. Then we're gonna look at arguments for the constructor, and we're gonna resolve all arguments recursively. So this has anyone here like saw the reflection API? Technically, I think the class object is part of the reflection API, but you have a lot of like really nice things here to resolve stuff at runtime. You know, if I were building a juice competitor, I would probably do what Dart does and do it all at compile time, but let's not do that. It's more complicated. So we have methods here. We can do get declared constructors. Yeah, we can do some go-tos. I'll build a go-to, okay, just for you. Yeah. Okay. So, declared constructors. So we have, and of course, you know, Java wouldn't give me the type here because that would be too nice for Java. It's not really metaprogramming. But yeah, okay. Anyway, I would consider this like level 1 metaprogramming, right? Because we're just able to get some basic type information, but you know, it's not like we're generating class files or anything like that at runtime. That'd be crazy. So, this is fun. I love Java API. Cool. You know, isn't Java so good? Yeah. It's such a good API here. Totally not error prone at all. So anyway, so here we're gonna resolve the constructor. So we have some arguments here, parameters. And we're gonna have bindings for each parameter. Okay. So yeah, so we have parameters, right? So list parameter. Oh, of course it's an array. Why would it be a list? And then we're gonna have a list of bindings. And we'll even pass in the length of the parameters here so that we'll have some nice thing. Yeah, it's probably close to 30 years, this ampersand thing here. And then here we're just gonna create the binding for the type, or get the binding, I should say. So actually here we're going to do we're gonna copy this, but we'll delete it all, don't worry. This, I should have probably done this before, but you know, this is coding, just figure out what works. Literally, I'm looking at the screen. Okay, here, I'll try to lift up the screen a little more. But yeah, that picture is it's nice. Is it actually the juice code in that? That's a lot of dedication right there. Okay, so get instance. Now we can just do binding t get bind. And actually, we should probably want to like not do this. What is like Demeter's law or something? I don't know. It's been years since I learned about all the various patterns. Yeah, this could be back in the interview question. All right, and then we can get rid of this. I'll ask them if they remember the word Demeter's law. I don't know. All right. And then here we can just call create binding. So easy. Uh, the note here I'll say is that this recursive call to get binding works because by default locks are reentrant, right? So if we're on the same thread, this lock will just kind of happily allow us to keep that lock, so we're fine. All right, so we have our parameters here. Let me throw a new exception. Let me create an exception here. Let's call it runtime exception. I should add inject, I think. Let me do that. Oops. Sure. What's the right now? I'm thinking in my head. Okay, I'm not gonna. I need retention. Target. What's it? Element type. And there's one other one, but I don't think it matters. Oh, I am using that. You're right. Okay. So we have to also find the inject constructor or the inject annotation. In terms of keyboards, I switch a lot. At work, I have the split Kinesis, like the gaming one, with cherry browns or something. I don't know. This one, at home, I just use like the Microsoft, like the pleb keyboard. I don't know. It's not that fancy. It's got membranes. But yeah. All right. So parameters. And then now we have to create a binding. So let's just defer that logic. I switch off, you know. I mean, I have them both, you know, depending on when I go to the office. It's good. Okay. Oh no, that's not what I want. I want supplier. Okay. Cool. Principal streaming engineers. We do have like different like data infra engineers, right? So we could do principal streaming. All right. So here we're gonna just return. We're gonna invoke the constructor with the various objects. So for each object, we have to get a binding. So this is cool. Such a nice API. I think I have to cast this because why would new instance of a constructor return the type? The difference between a supplier and a provider, I think so provider is a juice thing. I don't think there's JavaX provider. Oh yeah, there's. Yeah, I could use this. I mean, I think technically supplier came in after provider was added as like a JEP. So I'll just use supplier for now. Actually, let me just switch to provider because we can then also use that. So that's a good idea. Just find a replace. This is the advantage of peer programming with hundreds of people. You know, if you make a mistake, you can just fix it while you're doing it. Yeah. All the differences are they don't really matter. Okay, so we have our injector. I think it should work. It does. I deleted the comment, so that's important. And I think it does technically everything that we said in our first sketch. And so I think like the thing that if the thing that I just want to like have everyone walk away from this talk, if nothing else, besides the like entertainment value, is just like understanding that Juice is just this map here. So I mean, Juice is smart in that like they have a binding phase and a provisioning phase, and you know, you can, and there's a whole module system which we can build if we have time in the next 8 minutes, but probably not. But the underlying core of it is this binding map, and yeah, it's all just maps. Now I'm gonna run into a problem before I try using this, and I wonder if anyone can tell me what that problem is. I'll just say it. So I mean, there are things like this clock which don't have an inject constructor, right? So I need to be able to bind that like explicitly. A loop. So that is something that I can just like write right now, right? So and actually we can even like follow the API if we want. Oh no, I want it. Missing a semicolon. So let's do public, and we'll check return value here. Oh no. I don't know, return. Binding map. Yeah, I love, that's the clickbait part, Tyler. Like definitely the reaction videos. Oh yeah, yeah. You have to use check return value here. All right. So then, and fun fact, I think we have it now. So if you write HubSpot code and you do check return value, error prone will fail to build if people don't call that, which is nice. So, so now we have something we can possibly use. So let's create injector. And bind. Oh. Let me just save this over here because the engineer in me wants to shut it down. There's no difference between a provider and a supplier. They're just different names for the same thing. They both, you know, if we have structured typing, then it wouldn't matter. All right, and then now we can just ask for the. And in fact, I think there's this thing in Java called the Lambda Metadata Factory, Lambda Meta Factory, which will actually convert based on the signature. It'll convert from one type to another if you want to. So, but that's not what the purpose of this talk is. So, all right. So we run this. It should blow up because there's no at inject. To Meta Factory. Yeah, so nice. That's what we expect to see. So let's put some at injects on things. Get rid of the public here. I should probably put the name of the type that's failing. I don't know. It would be nice. Airplane factory. I know Pryor asked an interesting question. Let me see if I can find it in this scroll. Oh, multiple at inject. Yeah, I mean, I could check and then fail if I see that. That's probably a good idea. We have 3 minutes left, so get your jokes in now while you can. Cannot access a member. Oh, I think I have to set accessible because that's cool. Oh, I see. Yeah, I have to definitely code around. Yeah. Oh, look. So we have it's injecting. It actually worked. So nice. Let me build the thing that Mike Pryor asked for really quick before I call it because we're gonna run out of time. How loud is the keyboard? This keyboard shouldn't be that loud, and the microphone I feel like it shouldn't be a big issue. I see other people are typing. That's good. Okay. Does that solve your problem, Mike Pryor? I think it does, but we can test it. So if I add another injector here, oops. So this should blow up. Great, yeah. So that's something I would add to my unit test if this was test. Do reflection. No, I don't have time. Thank you, everyone. Any last questions before we wrap it up? I think I had another slide, but it's gone. So here we can go to my outro. Oh no, I can't. My outro doesn't have the comments, so. Oh, I think the comments are all done. I'm not using Vim. I just use normal, you know, just standard quick word from our sponsor. So here, I can show you my font. I use Consulus 21 because I'm blind. And yeah, I don't know. That's it. So thank you, everyone, and don't forget to click like and subscribe. No, that's great. Yeah, shout out to Corp VPN. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one. Let me see if I can find the. Yeah, it should work.